手に歩き回っちゃ。さあ、患者さんたち、会心の時間ですよ。曲がって突き当たり、右の部屋だ。
Black Label's newest member, Arashi Mikami, is designated as the assassin to kill corrupt businessman Hideo Aranami. Arashi unexpectedly gives his target a gun in an attempt to test if he will take his own life, only for Aranami to try to shoot him. Realizing Aranami is beyond saving, Arashi kills him. At Black Label's hideout, during their shower, Makoto Kiba questions Arashi about his actions and notices that he has scars all over his body. Taisei Aranami, Hideo's equally corrupt son, along with Jin Masaki. He kidnaps and imprisons a father and his daughter for attempting to give the police access to Aranami Company papers that were kept hidden, but they are interrupted by Detective Isoroku Tatara. Black Label storms the building and Arashi kills Taisei. A gunfight occurs and Arashi ends up saving Tatara, but Masaki kills one of the hostages and escapes, while Oroha Nashida detonates explosives to destroy the building. As Black Label leaves, Makoto remembers how Arashi told her that his body was severely damaged during a terrorist attack and in order to save his life, the founder of Black Label, Dr. Masamune Mochizuki, used his own son's and Arashi's best friend's organs for the transplant. Ryu Mochizuki, since he was brain dead from the incident, and he isn't sure how much of his body remains his. Meanwhile, Masaki swears revenge on the vigilantes, while another group prepares to go into action. Detective Tatara tries to interrogate Mrs. Fujino that he rescued hostage, but the staff at Mochizuki General Hospital frustrates his attempt. Dr. Mochizuki congratulates his agents and announces that Arashi, Makoto, and Oroha will become a team known as Ampule 1, supporting the Ampule Zero formed by Dr. Yuyuko Sajiri, Dr. Miki Tsurugi, and Nurse Seo Hitsugi. Masaki kidnaps Mrs. Fujino, and his henchman Yoroida fatally runs over the elder Mrs. Kimura, one of Yuyuko's patients, during the kidnapping. At an abandoned apartment complex, while Masaki gives a drug called Platinum Lily to Fujino, his men wait for the vigilantes. When Tatara tries to save Fujino, the drugged woman stabs him, and when Makoto tries to help him, Konomi Suzway, Tatara's partner, enters the room, only to be taken hostage by Masaki's thugs. While Seo, Miki, and Yuko start the attack, Arashi arrives just in time to save Makoto, and Yuko avenges her patient by killing Yoroida. Arashi...
これで終わりだ。
お前がな。安心しなさい。もう恐怖に怯えることもないわ。
She and Makoto confront Masaki on the building's rooftop, and when Fujino tries to attack him, Arashi knocks her out. Arashi tells Masaki that he always had a conscience, even with the surgery, and that is what gives him strength. When Masaki tries to escape using a helicopter, Oroha shoots it with the rocket launcher, and then Arashi kills Masaki and falls off the building. In the aftermath, Dr. Mochizuki tells his aide that they will continue with their triages. Makoto remembers her brother's death while going on a mission, only to arrive and find out their target has been burned to death by another vigilante. Meanwhile, former Black Label member Shinichiro Inanaki gives Dr. Mochizuki a footage of Arashi's previous mission that was recorded by Masaki before dying. Inanaki, in exchange for his silence, gives Black Label information about a new drug whose cargo will arrive very soon, and the consequences of its spreading. At school, Makoto meets the mysterious transfer student Chikaze Hazaki, and the latter expresses her interest in Makoto. Ampule 1 is sent to kill the leaders of the Kabuto group, who are interested in acquiring the new drug. Despite successfully killing their targets, they encounter the arsonist once more before she escapes. Ampule 0 is sent to investigate on their own, and Seo follows Inanaki to the hideout of some arms dealers. Seo runs into several dealers, but one dealer hit him on the head. Then Seo kills most of the dealers, and before he can interrogate the surviving one, a sniper kills him, while Inanaki simply leaves. Meanwhile, a drugged student tries to rape Arashi's classmate Yu Mamakino, but Chikaze and Makoto stop him in time. The drugged man escapes, but in his phone there's a ransom demand from Umichi, who has taken another student hostage. Chikaze and Makoto part ways in order to kill the remnants of the Kabuto. Makoto confronts Umichi and finds herself surrounded by hostages strapped with explosive vests. Umichi stabs Makoto in a leg and forces her to play a game of escaping from the hostages within 10 minutes. Makoto fails to reason with the hostages, and when they try to kill her, she's saved by Chikage, who kills them since they use self-preservation as an excuse to hurt others. Chikage and Makoto realize each other's identity, and when Chikage tells her reasons to kill alongside her master, Makoto suspects she's being manipulated. Umichi sets the storage on fire and challenges the vigilantes to get him. Chikage tells Makoto her feelings and leaves her behind, and before Makoto collapses, Arashi arrives and gives her bike, urging his partner to finish this, while Oriha successfully deactivates the vests and saves the hostages. Before Chikage can kill Umichi, Makoto uses her bike to intercede, and when Chikage tries to kill her, Makoto yells how she cares about her and that is not too late. Umichi tries to signal his snipers, but they have already been killed by Ampule 0. And he's then killed by Detective Makoto Agawa, Chikage's master. Agawa suddenly shoots Chikage in the eye since he considers her useless now. Arashi then throws his gun at Makoto, and she fatally shoots Agawa, who before dying says that he considers Black Label's actions useless. Chikage regains consciousness and tells her friend that she hopes to reincarnate in a better world alongside her sister, before letting herself fall to the flames. Afterwards, Suzway shows Tatara that the Agawa they knew was an imposter, and the veteran detective wonders how deep the secrets go. While Black Label wonders how Agawa knew about them, Agawa's allies begin to move. Oriha and several other idols are invited to the inauguration of a new TV station building. Oriha is set to perform alongside the idol twin sisters Siren and Sumair Mikazuki, but an armed group infiltrates the building. The terrorists, led by a man in a wolf mask, cut the electricity, lock the audience in a room, and take the idol hostages. But Oriha and the Mikazukis avoid being captured since Siren had to use the ladies' room. Oriha notices something's wrong, and after analyzing the situation in her dressing room, they are attacked by a man in disguise. The man inside the suit turns out to be drugged, but Oriha manages to knock him out. The man in the wolf mask, who calls himself Wild Hunt, tells on live TV that they're here to take revenge on Black Label and executes an idol in front of everyone. With every police officer in the city surrounding the building, Wild Hunt shows that the hostages are on a high floor and threatens to kill them by defenestration if they don't obtain their ransom, but in secret tells one of his henchmen that their objective has already been fulfilled. Oriha provokes a fire, and using the sprinklers they avoid the cameras and reach the stairs, so she separates from the twins. Black Label is on hold, and Arashi tells Makoto they should trust Oriha, while she goes to see the body of her fellow idol. Before Wild Hunt can kill one of the hostages, Oriha distracts them and kills some henchmen using a homemade bomb. Oriha speaks to Wild Hunt using a radio, and the terrorist reveals its knowledge of Black Label. Oriha fails to bargain with Wild Hunt, and the police officers realize something's wrong with the blueprints. The man in charge of the security room turns out to be Wild Hunt's sub-commander, and when Oriha manages to avoid him, he announces that the plan is in its final stage. The police storms the building and a gunfight happens, with Oriha being surprisingly saved from 2 gunmen by the Mikazuki sisters. Wild Hunt, who turns out to be a woman with a voice changer, knocks out Siren and Sumair and captures Oriha. But Ampule 1 springs into action. Wild Hunt and her men use secret tunnels that reach the subway to escape, but Makoto and Arashi reach them in time. While Makoto deals with the thugs, Arashi faces the sub-commander and Wild Hunt in total darkness. Wild Hunt, whose real name is Siren, directs his henchmen by mimicking Oriha's voice, hoping to make Arashi panic. Arashi remains calm and by remembering Inaneki's lesson, kills the sub-commander and fatally shoots Siren. As she lays dying, Siren realizes Arashi is like them and says the world is about to change before dying. Oriha reunites with Siren and Sumair, while Makoto and Arashi are ambushed by a masked rider. The rider turns out to be Arashi's mentor, Inanaki, who is simply testing them. Inanaki also informs them that their suspicions about Siren's actions were right. She was distracting the police while her comrades stole from a cargo ship 2 briefcases necessary to manufacture the Platinum Lily. The ship belongs to Kyoji Tabashiro, from the influential Tabashiro clan that rules the city from the shadows. But Inanaki mentions that Tabashiro doesn't truly understand what Platinum Lily really is. Ampule 0 goes to the ship and Seo is attacked by the twin sisters Kaoru and Kaori Murasaki, while Yuko faces the masked Mr. Astro, who says that their group, Syringe, is declaring war to Black Label and their intentions to bring chaos to the world. The masked man D takes one of the briefcases, but Mickey is able to obtain the other and Syringe makes the ship sink. Sayo is badly injured, but Yuuko finds her in time and taken to intense care. Dr. Machizuki realizes he might know the contents of the briefcase and tells Arashi, Makoto and Oriha what he knows. Masamune tells how he used to be the doctor of a mercenary group, and in one of their missions they came across a village with access to an unknown virus, named D99 virus and its vaccine. The research team, formed by Masamune, his second-in-command Fiona Ran Winchester and Inanaki, discovered that the virus was capable of giving healing powers to those that survived it and its possibilities were limitless, but that the risks of falling in the wrong hands or mutating were too high. So they decided to destroy all the samples after the village was destroyed. It is then revealed that Arashi was the last person who received the virus, since Masamune didn't want to lose both him and his son. Arashi doesn't resent the doctor, and Black Label wonders how it surfaced again. A frustrated Kyoji wants to spread the Platinum Lily as a way of spite his father, the head of the clan. Meanwhile, Sayo awakens. A flashback on how Arashi was relearning to walk and how Sayo helped him. In the present, Fiona directs Ampule 1 to capture Sayo, which confuses them. But Fiona explains that her illness has resurfaced and must be stopped. They runs across a berserk Sayo, and proves to be too much to handle, but Mickey and Yuuko interfere in time. Yuuko is willing to kill Hitsugi, since she promised herself that she would do it if it came to it once more. Arashi prevents her from killing Sayo, and locks himself and Hitsugi in an underground part of the facility. When Yuuko tries to intervene, Masamune convinces her to let Arashi try, since they have survived the same illness. Yuuko and Mickey explain that 9 years ago they investigated a facility belonging to Itaru Togo, a member of the original team that researched the D99 virus, only to find everyone there, including Togo, dead, killed by a test subject. Mickey found that the subject had developed a lot of strength and regeneration, but also deep psychological issues. Yuuko was attacked by the subject, but right when she stabbed it, she realized it was Sayo. She saved her, but Sayo lost her memories. Arashi tries to make Hitsugi remember a promise they made each other years ago and finally succeeds when he takes off her mask. A grateful Sayo kisses Arashi in front of Makoto, and then assures the rest of the team that she will no longer avoid her past. Meanwhile, Kane Makiishi, Syringe's leader, directs Kaoru and Kaori to kill a detective that's been researching them, Konomi Suzway. Makoto starts to develop feelings towards Arashi, but is unsure on how to act on them. The two sisters attack Suzway, only for Tabashiro's thugs to kidnap her, barely managing to escape with the captive detective. Detective Hijiri, Black Label's contact on the police, informs the situation, while Goryu, Tabashiro's second-in-command, prepares to torture Suzway by showing her all the addicted girls that she has broken both in mind and body. She also mentions that she's reserving the Platinum Lily for later, and how torture works for her. Fiona informs Dr. Machizuki that Syringe was looking for information in the public safety server, but their motives remain unknown. Black Label goes to Tabashiro's hideout at an abandoned mine. Oriha and Makoto attract the guards' attention while Arashi looks for Suzway. Kaoru and Kaori also arrive, but they're confronted by a recovered Sayo, who proceeds to trash them around. When Kaori asks how she can be so strong, Sayo tells them that her father Itaru Togo used the D99 virus to save her from an incurable disease, and that she killed him when she snapped. The twins only say that they received their powers from a princess, and before Hitsugi can kill them, Mr. Astro arrives and takes them away. Meanwhile, Arashi finds and rescues Suzway, but accidentally releases all the girls that were infected with the Platinum Lily. The girls relax at the bath and discuss their previous mission. Suzway is now on intensive care under the guarding eye of Tatara. Fiona mentions that she will recover and that there's no D99 in her system. Yuuko mentions that Syringe escaped from her, and blames Sayo for them getting away. Sayo apologizes for the trouble she's caused, and a rivalry between Sayo and Makoto for Arashi begins. At school, Arashi's classmates Yu Mamakino and Hanako Kaminado talk about some mysterious kidnappings and how strange people also began to appearing. But Arashi knows the truth and warns them to be careful. Mickey tries to get information from Inanaki, but Shinakairo only teases her and gives them a clue. Fiona and Masamune discuss the reappearance of the D99 virus and how it could endanger mankind. Makoto and Arashi go after a drug dealer that's in a car chase with a woman hostage, and when they succeed in stopping him, They don't get new information on Syringe. While Mikoto takes the woman to the hospital, Arashi walks back home. This is the end of anime. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe.